Across the universe. The friends were gathered outside Big Bear's den for a special feast.
"Sausages, anyone?"
asked Big Bear. "I love stargazing," announced Holly. Raggles wanted to know what the nearest star is. Big Bear tells Raggles the closest star to the Earth is the Sun.
"Earth moves around the sun with 7 other planets,"
continues Big Bear. Using Will's football and some baked potatoes, Big Bear names all the planets in the solar system.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Grandfather Bear told me all about space when I was little,
explains Big Bear. Bluebird thinks she knows all about space and tells Manny the moon is made of cheese. This makes everyone laugh. Big Bear tells them all about the constellation called
the Great Bear.
"I can't see any bears up there," says Holly, looking up at the sky. Big Bear explains it's not a real bear, but if you join the stars up with your finger, it looks a bit like a bear shape. Bluebird is sulking in her nest.
"I'm sorry I laughed about the moon being made of cheese,"
says Manny. "You won't be laughing when I'm the first bird in space," announces Bluebird. "Blast off!" Later that evening, Big Bear has a surprise for his friends. He shows them Grandfather Bear's old telescope. "Can we see the planets?" asks Raggles excitedly. Raggles sees the planet Venus through the telescope. Everyone has a turn looking at the planets. "Wow, it's really bright," says Will. Big Bear tells them Venus is the brightest planet of all, and the hottest. Holly looks through the telescope and sees a big orange planet.
"That's the planet Mars,"
says Big Bear.
"It's covered in orangey red dust."
Meanwhile, Bluebird and Manny are racing to see who can be the first bird into space. "Just call me Rocket Bird," screeches Bluebird. Suddenly, disaster strikes. Bluebird and Manny collide, tumbling to the ground. They bump into Big Bear's telescope, which collapses and falls to bits. "Oh no, the telescope!" cries Will. Big Bear picks up the shattered pieces.
"It's broken,"
he says sadly. Manny and Bluebird are very sorry. Will offers to try and fix it, and Big Bear wonders how he will ever get to see the planets again. Raggles shows Big Bear his magnifying glass, and Rosie offers her periscope. But they're not strong enough to see faraway things. Will announces he can see all the way across to Oakley with his binoculars, which gives Rosie an idea. Rosie visits Oakley. Big Bear taught us so much about the planets. It's a shame he can't use his old telescope anymore, she tells him. Oakley suggests that they could use what Big Bear taught them about the planets to help him see them again. Raggles draws a picture of the planets. Will finds an old steering wheel and some joysticks. With Rosie's help, the friends paint some balls to make the different planets. "It's time to get this space mission off the ground," announces Rosie. Will tells Big Bear he can fix his telescope. It'll just take a bit of time. "Meanwhile, we've got a treat for you," adds Rosie. They take Big Bear to the studio. Teal takes charge of the space mission. "Ground control to Major Manny and Captain Bluebird," she whispers as the birds fly over the skylight, pretending to be shooting stars. Inside, Big Bear is dressed in a special silver spacesuit. "It's time for a voyage across the universe," announces Rosie. Big Bear looks up at the skylight and sees shooting stars passing overhead and painted planet balls on sticks. Finally, the glowing, fluffy bugs make the shape of the Great Bear constellation. It's just like being in space.
"Oh, thank you so much, everyone,"
says Big Bear. Rosie tells him they couldn't have done it without all the things he taught them. "You're not just Big Bear," says Holly. "You're our Great Bear." And she gives him a great big hug. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. Make sure you come back soon for more stories with Everything's Rosie